back, everyone. Bit of a bumpy ride. Just finished work after a long day and looking towards Hull at the weekend. I've got my ticket and I'll be going up there with my my younger brother, and we'll be looking for our first 3 points of the season. But to be honest, I've been away from home on numerous occasions over the last 10 years, and to be fair, I've only seen one win away from home, and that was Derby, Pride Park, back in 2009. Ironically, Jonathan Walters scored the winner in that one, and maybe he could give me a bit of luck this time. Hopefully he could score the winner against Hull on Saturday. But got a lot of stuff to talk about before we get into Saturday's encounter with Hull, and most importantly, let's probably start with the James Collins situation, which it's become a lot clearer today, his position with Ipswich at the moment. It looks as though Collins is likely to sign for us rather than the aforementioned Aston Villa, QPR, Bristol City. And there's been a lot of speculation linking him to Villa, but to be honest, that's a lot. Villa are all chat all the time, so we've got a huge fan base, so they're always going to be talking about it. But he's been training with Ipswich for over 2 weeks now. If he wasn't looking to sign for Ipswich, he wouldn't be training here. It's as simple as that. The second one is Paul Hurst is actually taking him into consideration, so talking about his fitness as if he is one of his players. Now, at this moment in time, he isn't one of our players. So it looks as though if he is fit, which he's not at the moment, he's got a bit of a hamstring problem, that he will be offered a position with Ipswich Town Football Club. Given our serious lack of defenders and there's not much competition at centre-back, I probably think he'd be a perfect fit for us. And not only that, given the amount of experience, the Premier League experience he's had and international experiences he's had. Let's not forget he was in the Wales squad that made it to the semi-finals of the Euros 2 years ago, as well as being a ever-present West Ham player and having played for Aston Villa previously. He's going to offer a lot of experience at the back, and we do need to bolster the squad in that area, so I think that would be a good signing for us. And yeah. So secondly, moving on, there was a lot of talk about Jonas Knudsen's contract today, primarily because he was obviously interviewed as one of the players pre-Hull, and he's still commenting and trying to get Marcus Evans' attention by he's not necessarily jibing him, but he's saying, I haven't been contacted by Marcus Evans yet, I haven't been this, I haven't been that. Well, to be honest, he'll be offered a contract as and when, but I have asked, I put a poll on Twitter recently and asked the fans to make an honest assessment on Jonas Knudsen and whether they'd really be bothered whether he was offered another contract. Now, Jonas is a consistent performer, but is he consistently good? I'd question that. What does he bring to the squad that other players wouldn't? He's potentially key. He's hindering players like Miles Kenlock and I think it was Bailey Clements as well, the youngster, from coming through, purely because he's in the squad. I'm not saying he's been challenged by Kenlock. I don't know what Kenlock's doing behind closed doors, but when I've seen him, he's offered more than Knudsen has. So yeah, Mad Dog, as he's known, by most of the town fans, he can offer something now and again, and that now and again just happens to be Norwich. So value-wise, can you see Jonas Knudsen being at the club much longer? I don't think so. And the same would probably be with the likes of players like Chambers and Scouse. If they're not to make their mark in the squad this season, they will be going next season, or potentially retiring. because they've come to that point in their career. Knudsen's not quite there yet. Obviously, he's still only 26, so he's got a future in football. I just don't think it's with Ipswich Town, personally. So then we move on to other news relating to injuries, and I did see that someone on Twitter was complaining about the lack of opportunities for players such as Danny Rowe and Andre Dazelle and Teddy Bishop and this and that. And, you know, niggles wise, if we look back to the McCarthy era, we had a lot of players out with lengthy injuries, and when they did come back, they weren't fully fit. And that's something that's different with Paul Hurst. I think he takes the players' health and fitness into consideration much more than McCarthy ever did. And if Paul Hurst and his coaches and his staff turn around and say Dazelle isn't fit and he isn't fit, he's not going to play. The same is for Danny Rowe. He's been playing under 23s football, which is a percentage of what an actual match day would be like. He doesn't have to give 100% in those games. He can give 70% and get away with it. He can play 60 to 90 minutes without breaking a sweat. And he is scoring goals, and he is showing, you know, but that's what you would expect Danny Rowe to produce at that level. And also, he's still building up his fitness after, you know, lengthy spell out with an injury. So at this moment in time, I think he's doing well. And like Andre Dazelle, he's on the comeback. He's not fully fit, and he won't be risked until he is fully fit. The same for Emir Hughes. Emir Hughes is playing under 23 football at the moment. Is he fit enough to play first team football? I don't know. And to be honest, if they're not involved in the squad, that says everything you need to know. It's that they're not fit enough to play first team football, and I don't think we should be questioning the motives of the manager at this moment in time with regards to those players. So looking ahead to Hull then, there's been a lot of talk about Bielkowski and Gherkin. Now Bartos was dropped for the Norwich game. Whether that was the right decision or not, it sent a shockwave through the squad to let them know that you are droppable. You're all droppable. You can all be dropped from your starting position. And to be honest, whether Bart did or didn't deserve to be dropped, that's a completely different conversation in itself. Even if he didn't deserve to be dropped, Gherkin came in and he didn't make any errors. So, given that both keepers are still probably level par, you could say Bielkowski matches Gherkin in ways. Gherkin's not very good on the ball. He looks a bit shaky on the ball, but he's a good shot stopper, whereas Bart is not very good when the ball's coming into the box at height. You could weigh each of them up against each other, but obviously Bart's been a standout player for us over the last 2 or 3 seasons. I'd argue we've become too comfortable playing Bartosz Bielkowski, and maybe that is the reason for our problems. A lot of the defence rely on Bart to perform, rely on him to make the saves, rely on him to do this and do that. But at the end of the day, we've got to take each game as it comes, and I feel the first 6 games of the season, Bartos wasn't playing to the best of his ability, and if he actually turned around and denied that, then I think the guy's got a problem, because he didn't offer us anything at the back. He didn't make he made a number of saves, but what I'm saying, he didn't make any crucial saves. He didn't give us anything to talk about. And to be honest, let's look at TWTD, for God's sake. People are still voting him as man of the match, and he's not done anything. There's players on that pitch that have consistently performed for 90 minutes and still don't get the man of the match rating. It's just ridiculous. He's our scapegoat. We always go to him as oh yeah, Bart's played really well this week, but he hasn't. He's let in 3 goals. How can he be man of the match? I think Gherkin will be a fresh choice for us. Obviously, the minute he makes a mistake, everyone's going to be on his back. But I can't see Bartos coming straight back into the squad anytime soon. I think it'll be a lesson well learned. He'll use Bart as an example, and the rest of the squad will learn. And that's just the manager making his stamp on the squad and letting everyone know how things are going to go going forward. And I think that's good. Competition is the best way of getting the best performance out of our players. So we've got Hull on Saturday, and to be honest, I haven't looked at our history of Hull, but I can't. The only time I can ever remember us beating Hull at the KCOM, is it, was when we beat them 5-2. What year was that? Was that 2007? I think Franny Jeffers scored when we had him on loan, and Alan Lee definitely scored that night. I think he might have scored 2, maybe even a hat-trick. I wouldn't put it past him, but yeah, we don't seem to do very well against them at all. But I'm going up there. It'll be my first away game of the season. Going to do a lot of mileage. I'm going to go up with my younger brother Jack, and hopefully we'll see the first 3 points of the season. But not only the first 3 points of the season, but the first 3 points away from home for me. And that would be nice. Well, not first 3 points, second 3 points. But I'm optimistic. I'm always optimistic. But this season more than ever, it just seems to be some kind of general feeling around the club that we're going in the right direction, and I'm feeding off that. So come Saturday morning, I'm going to be absolutely buzzing to get on the road and get up to Hull and see what ITFC have to offer this weekend. So if you're travelling up to Hull, take it easy, and come on you Blues.